Hello everyone, welcome back to online lecture series on engineering thermodynamics. We are continuing our topic of vapor power cycle. In our previous lecture, we started with comparison of Rankine and Carnot cycle. So we will revisit our previous topics first and then we will begin with the remaining topics. So here we have compared Carnot and Rankine cycle, and if we see, the only difference between Carnot and Rankine cycle is that here the heat addition process has been changed. That is, in Carnot cycle the heat addition process was isothermal, and in case of Rankine cycle the heat addition process is reversible isobaric. That means reversible constant pressure process. That is the basic difference between these two cycles. And here if we compare figure A, that is this one, and figure C, the heat rejection is equal, however Q1 is more. That's why Carnot efficiency is more than the Rankine efficiency. And we have seen that while comparing A with B also, where the thermal efficiency is same for Carnot cycle, and here also it is found that Carnot efficiency is more than the Rankine efficiency. Then we studied about mean temperature heat addition. This is the important criteria for analysis of Rankine cycle. Basically, the heat addition temperature, mean temperature of heat addition is calculated by this formula. Here in this case, if you see how we can obtain the mean temperature of heat addition, so first what we need to do is we need to focus on the process of heat addition. That is, in our standard Rankine cycle, if you see, the heat addition curve is from 4s to 1, that is the red highlighted curve. So what we do here, that we take a ratio of what? That ratio of enthalpy and entropy for process 1 to 4s. That is, if you see, the mean temperature heat addition is H1 minus H4s, that is the numerator, divided by S1 minus S4s, that is denominator. So this will be the mean temperature of heat addition. And here we obtained in this case that the Rankine efficiency is function of mean temperature of heat addition. So this is very important parameter that will be helpful to us in analysis. And now these were few effects of changing various parameters on the efficiency of Rankine cycle. So here in first case what we have done is we have increased the initial temperature at constant pressure. That we have two different cases. First is the maximum temperature is T1 and second case is maximum temperature is T1 prime. So here increase in superheat at constant pressure increases the mean temperature of heat addition. So the cycle efficiency increases. So this is a desirable aspect of for improvement in the cycle efficiency. However, the maximum possible temperature of steam is fixed by metallurgical consideration, because we cannot cross certain maximum temperature, otherwise it will adversely affect the material of blades. So next is because of this the maximum temperature is fixed. Now in second case what we have done is we have increased the pressure of heat addition, that is we have increased it from P1 to P2. Here the mean temperature of heat addition also increases, but here if you see carefully that we have gone from green curve to red curve, and once we go there, if you see the outlet of turbine is now more wet, that is the liquid portion has increased from 2s to 6s. Okay, so that is one effect, that dryness fraction reduces at the exit of turbine, and this can affect the longevity of blade. So there is two different sides of this, that while increasing this pressure we can increase the mean temperature of heat addition and cycle efficiency consequently. However, once we increase this pressure, our entire cycle slightly shifts towards the left. That means it will increase the dryness, it will reduce the dryness fraction, and it can the water particles can affect the turbine blade material. So there are two sides of the same thing. So because of this, the maximum moisture content that at turbine exhaust can be tolerated is up to 15% only. So this is the maximum left hand side limit till which we can go. Beyond this it will damage our turbine blades, so we can go only up to 0.85. Here we have fixed the maximum steam temperature at turbine inlet, the minimum temperature of heat rejection, and minimum quality of steam at the turbine exhaust. So once fixing all this, maximum steam pressure is also getting fixed. So there is a certain fixed pressure beyond which we cannot go. The next thing that we have studied is reheat cycle. So here what we are doing now is, if we focus on this figure, this will be important for our new topics also. If you see this arrangement in reheat cycle, we are using two turbines instead of single turbine. So here we have divided the expansion process in two, and in between them we are taking this steam into a reheater where it is getting further heat and then again going back into low pressure turbine, and then it is passing through this condenser and the usual path. So what we are getting here, that here after expanding in high pressure turbine, HP turbine, it is again reheated, that is the point, the curve 2s to 3, and then again it is expanded in the low pressure turbine. So here if you see the benefit, that our usual old cycle was this red one, and our new cycle is with addition of this green curves. That is now the quality of steam at the exhaust of turbine is much better than previous one. So So these are the analysis of our cycle efficiency, steam rate. Now we are beginning our new topic, that is regenerative cycle. So first we need to focus on this figure. First of all, let's understand this, that how regenerative cycle is different from our standard Rankine cycle. So if you see, our boiler is as it is, there is no difference in this. Here Q1 heat is added. For convenience purpose, the mass of steam is taken as 1 kg. At the exit of turbine, we are having pressure as P1 and temperature as T saturation. Turbine is also as it is, that is we are getting work output, and here with generator we are getting electricity. Now the difference is coming over here in turbine, that here we are taking some of the steam out of this 1 kg into heater 1, and then another M2 kg into heater 2, and here as we keep on moving, the quantity of steam keeps on reducing, that is the mass of steam keeps on reducing as it is passing through these turbines. And here then the minimum steam is going into condenser and then going into heater 1, heater 2 and heater 1 one by one. So let's focus over here. So what you can do right now is you can pause this video and you can draw this figure right now, so that it will be better for you to understand how we have done. So I hope that you have already drawn this figure, and now let's begin. From here we are having 1 kg of steam. Okay, now let's divide this into two portions. Let's have first as this portion, and second is this portion. So what we have done is we have divided the entire turbine into 3 different parts, and we will see that how they are different from each other. So what we are doing here is, here at the end of our first part, here we are taking M1 kg out of this turbine. Okay, that is our point 2. Here it was 0.1, and then so if you see carefully, the quantity of steam which is passing through our first part is 1 kg, and as you can see that now we don't have M1 kg, so the quantity of steam which is left is 1 minus M1 kg. Okay, so here in this portion only 1 minus m1 kg is passing through, and after that here if you see in this figure, we are again taking some quantity of steam, that is, let's say that we are taking out m2 kg. So once we remove m2 kg, so now the quantity which is being left for third expansion is 1 minus m1 minus m2 kg. So this is the quantity that we are having. So at the exit of this turbine, we will only have, if you see here, and let me tell you one more thing, that this will be our point number 3 and this will be our point number 4. And point number 4, at the exit we are only having 1 minus m1 minus m2 kg, which will be expanded over here. Okay, so this is the way. Here the quantity of steam is keeping on changing as we pass through the blades of turbine. Now if you see here, that if we see, let's start from point number 4 here. Then 1 minus m1 minus m2 kg is first passing through condenser where heat is rejected, that is Q2, and then this same mass is being pumped to heater 2 through the pump 1. Through pump 1, the heater, it is going into the heater. So if you see carefully, then this m2 kg is also entering this heater, which is at pressure P3. So let's study this part of heater 2. This is obviously for turbine. So if we see what is going on in heater 1, so here we are having the let's say this to be point number 6. We are at heater 1. And here the quantity is m2 kg. And here 1 minus m1 minus m2 kg. So obviously okay, this was point number 3, and then once these two are combined, here this will be our point number 7. and as you once these two are combined, the quantity of mass which is going is 1 minus m1 kg. So now we will see what happens in heater 2. Heater 2 now, if you focus over here, then at the exit of, again we will revisit our point number 7 over here, that this 1 minus m1 kg is pumped into the heater 1, where it is meeting this m1 kg from the turbine. So here we are having this to be point number 8, the quantity being 1 minus m1 kg, and here the point is point number 8. And here we are getting the quantity is m1 kg, which is at point number 2. So we are at here right now, point number 2 is here. So this will be point number 2, and here once it is passing through this heater, the quantity which will be exiting is 1 kg at point number 9. There is one more thing, there is a correction that I need to make. The name of the heaters are reversed, that is, first we have discussed heater 2 and then we have discussed heater 1. So this will be our heater 1, which is this portion that we have discussed, and previously we have discussed about heater 2, which is this one. So only the error was in writing the sequence of heater. The remaining things are as it is. Okay, so this is the way it is working. So here, this is the way it is working, and you should pause this video and you should draw this figure. So I will be erasing everything. For every kg of steam entering into turbine, let's m1 kg of steam be extracted from the intermediate stage of the turbine where the pressure is P2. So we are discussing this point number 2, and it is used to heat up the feed water 1 minus kg by mixing in heater 1. That is, we are discussing about this portion. And let me tell you, these are direct contact type heaters. Let me write over here that the heaters that we are having are here direct contact heaters. Okay, that means both steams are mixed together. The remaining 1 minus kg, 1 minus m1 kg of steam expands in turbine and from pressure P2 to P3, where m2 kg of steam is extracted from the feed for heating the feed water in heater 2, that is over here. And we are discussing about point number 3. We have already discussed everything. So only 1 minus m1 minus m2 kg of steam then expands in the remaining stages of turbine to pressure P4, gets condensed in the water in condenser and then pumped into the heater 2, where it mixes with m2 kg of steam extracted at pressure P3. So we are discussing what is happening in heater 2, that has been already explained. Then the remaining 1 minus m1 kg is pumped to heater 1 and it mixes with m1 kg of steam extracted at pressure P2. The resulting 1 kg of steam, that is over here, is then pumped back to boiler where the heat from external source is applied. Heater 1 and heater 2 thus operate at pressure P2 and P3 respectively. The amounts of steam extracted, that is the amounts of steam extracted M1 and M2 from turbine are such that at each exit of heater the state is saturated liquid at the respective pressure. So this is assumption that we will see at the TS diagram. At the exit of each heater the state is saturated liquid. So now here we are having the PV and TS diagram, the TS diagram of regenerative cycle. So first let's discuss this on our virtual board. Okay, we will be discussing here only. So first let's focus on this TS diagram, that here point number 10 to point number 1, it will be a heat addition process that is happening in boiler. This is the first portion of turbine where full 1 kg is being expanded till pressure P2, and then here if you see M1 kg is taken over here. M1 kg is taken over here, and only remaining portion, that is 1 minus M1 kg is going through the turbine. So this will be, so this is our first stage of turbine. First stage of turbine. After that 1 minus M1 kg is going. So this will be our second stage of turbine, and then we are having third stage of turbine. So here in second stage 1 minus M1 kg is expanded, and after that M2 kg is taken here in the heater 1, and then in third stage of turbine 1 minus M1 minus M2 is going. So here this is if you see, let me write down over here, this will be going into our heater 2. This is the heater 1 line, and here we are having this as a condenser line. Okay, so here in condenser 1 minus M1 minus M2 kg is having heat rejection. Here in heater 2 this M2 kg and M1 kg is passing, and these are the various pumps that we are having, which are pumping this water. So here the work output that we are getting is, in first stage we are having 1 kg with enthalpy difference of H1 minus H2, that is over here, that is this portion. After that in second stage we are having 1 minus M1 kg with H2 minus H3, that is here to here, that is intermediate stage. And after that in last stage, that is third stage, we are having quantity as 1 minus M1 minus M2 with enthalpy difference of H3 minus H4. And similarly we can write down for the pump work. So here if you see, from H5 to H6 we are having this portion. So 1 minus M1 minus M2 H6 minus H5, that is the first pump work. Then we are having 1 minus M1, that is this H7 minus H6. As you have drawn this figure, the previous figure in your notebook, you can simultaneously see that notebook so that you will be getting the idea. And here after that we are having this pump work, that is H10 minus H9. Q1 is obviously we are having from here to here, that is, let me show this heat addition process, that is H10 to H1. So this is heat addition. Q2 is heat rejection process, which is happening over here in the condenser part, that is this portion. Okay, now efficiency is given by this formula, and steam rate as usual. T1 Tm1 with regeneration is this H1 H1 to H10, and Tm without regeneration will be from 0.1 to 0.6, 6 to 1, that will be heat addition. So Tm1 with regeneration is more than the Tm1 without regeneration, so efficiency of regenerative cycle is more. And these are the energy balance that for heater 2 and energy balance for heater 1. So these are quite straightforward. As you have drawn those previous figures, you can get this idea. Now let us say that for 1 kg of steam, the states would be represented by the path 1, 2 prime, 3 prime and 4 prime. That is, here the work output has been changed. That is, this is as it is. That is 1 kg of mass. This is previous one actually. This formula is same as previous one, and we have replaced it with for 1 kg. So for 1 kg it is being replaced with this portion here. This 1 minus m1 h2 minus h3 is being replaced with h2 prime minus h3 prime. And here the another one which is replaced is this, that is 1 minus m1 minus m2 into h3 minus h2 is being replaced with this 1 kg. So here we are getting loss in work output. So as you can see, this yellow are being equated and the green are being equated. So this whole cycle, that let me show this cycle here, 1 to 2, 2 to 2 prime, 2 prime to 3 prime, 3 to 3 double prime, and then 3 double prime to 4 prime, and the remaining is usual cycle, that is over here 4 prime to 5, 6 to 7, 7 to 8, 8 to 9. So this is the whole cycle for 1 kg of steam. The heat which is released by steam condensing from 2 to 2 prime is utilized in heating the water from 8 to 9. So this is having connection with this portion, and similarly this is having the connection with this one, 6 to 7, and WT has been changed, and this is the HS diagram for the same, and you can now easily understand this. Now our next theory is reheat regenerative cycle. So we will be combining the effects of reheat and regeneration together. So here the reheating of steam is adopted when the vaporization pressure is high. The effect of reheat alone on thermal efficiency is very small. So here in regeneration or heating up the feed water by extracting the steam from turbine has marked effect on the cycle efficiency. This we have done in today's lecture, that is our previous topic, and this has been done in our previous lecture. So what we are going to do, we are going to combine both this. A modern steam power plant is equipped with both. So this is the figure that we are having. So we need to be very careful in discussing this portion. So here we have combination of the two things. First is, this is the boiler we are having, as well as reheater is also equipped with the same. Here 1 kg is taken into HP turbine, where we are having this M1 kg being extracted over here. So this is we are discussing right now. M1 kg is extracted and it is taken into the heater 1, that is over here, and then 1 minus M1 kg, that is M1 is extracted over here, and 1 minus M1 kg is taken into the reheater, and this 1 minus M1 kg is going into LP turbine. Here 1 minus M1 kg is going into LP turbine, where this portion, if you see, which is having extraction of M2 kg, and it is taken into heater number 2, that is over here. M2 kg is taken over here. So if we simultaneously discuss this portion in this TS diagram, then in boiler what is happening, in boiler we are having this point 0.15 to 0.1, that is over here. Now if you see that the first expansion is happening, so here this HP turbine can be divided into two parts, where here we are having 1 kg and here we are having 1 minus M1 kg, because M1 kg is taken into heater number 1. So 1 to 2 is having 1 kg of steam. So this is 1 kg. Then we are having M1 kg being extracted. So let me use this. So this is the M1 kg which is going into heater number 1, and then the 1 minus M1 kg portion is being again expanded over here. So this is 1 minus M1, and it is going into reheater, so it is from 3 to 4, and then after reheating it is again expanded into LP turbine. So this is again for LP turbine, where 1 minus m1 kg is expanded over here. So if we divide this LP turbine, then this is 1 minus m1, and here it will be 1 minus m1 minus m2. And here, why it is 1 minus m1 minus m2? Because m2 kg is extracted over here and going into heater number 2. So here we have this further expansion that is happening over here in LP turbine. So here what we have done is we have extracted m2 kg over here in heater number 2. And then again at the we are having third division also here, that here in LP turbine itself we are having 1 minus m1 minus m2 minus m3. Why? Because again we are having third division for LP turbine is this. Okay, so that is also going into heater number 3. M3 is going into heater number 3, and then the remaining is 1 minus m1 minus m2 minus m3, which is going into the condenser part, that is over here. And now what is going to happen in heater number? So first we are pumping this, that is this, if we focus on this again, this portion that is going from 8 to 9 is this. Then it is going into heater number 3, where m3 kg, that is over here, is meeting this m1 minus m2 minus m3. So this line and this line are being combined. So then we are getting this exit point, that is point number 10. We are having 1 minus at point 10. We are having 1 minus m1 minus m2 kg. Then here there is a heater 2, where we are having m2 kg, which is so first after point 10 we are having pumping, that will take us to point number 11, and then it is here being mixed with m2 kg. So this m2 kg and this is being mixed, so we are getting point number 12. Point number 12, here we will have 1 minus m1 kg. This 1 minus m1 kg is pumped here, so we are getting the from 12 to point 13 we are getting. After that this m1 kg is meeting this 1 minus m1 kg, so finally we are getting point number 14, where we are getting 1 kg. This 1 kg is being pumped to point 15, and then it is going into boiler, and we are getting the whole cycle being repeated. So we have already discussed this. And now about the work output. So here first is this, with 1 kg we are having the enthalpy difference of H1 to H2. Then with 1 minus m1 kg we are having enthalpy difference of H2 to H3. Then we are having again the enthalpy difference of H4 minus H5 with 1 minus m1 kg after reheating. Then we are having, so we have discussed up to this. Then we are having 1 minus m1 minus m2 kg which is being expanded in H5 minus H6. And then we are having this portion where this is the last stage of LP turbine, 1 minus m1 minus m2 minus m3 into H6 minus H5. Then the pumping that is done over here, you can go through by yourself. Q1 is this, Q1 is having 15 to 1, that is over here, and 1 minus m1, that is this is H4 minus H3. So we are having reheater, one reheater and one boiler heat addition. And Q2 is there in the Q2 is the part of condenser, that is over here. So the energy balance of heater 1, 2 and 3 are like this. You can go through by yourself. It is quite straightforward. And now we will move forward with our next topic, that is last topic, feed water heater. There are two types of heaters, open heater and closed heater. In our previous theories when we were discussing about regeneration, those were open heaters where there was a clear mixing of two steams. That is, the extracted or blade steam is allowed to mix with the feed water and both leave the heater at the common temperature. In closed heater, what is happening, that there is no direct contact, that is, fluids are kept separate, not allowed to mix together. The feed water flows through the tubes in the heater and extracted steam condenses outside the tubes in the shell. So this is indirect contact that is happening. The heat released by condensation is transferred to feed water through the tube. So what is happening, that let's take a very rough example. Let's say here we are having pipes like this. For explanation purpose, I will be drawing only two pipes where feed water is passing. And here we are having steam which is coming from the top. So in tubes we are having feed water, and from the top steam is passing through this shell, and here we are getting condensate outside. So this condensate, which is also called as heater drip, is passing through a trap. Now what is this trap? We are you need to focus here. We are talking about this trap. And whatever I said about this arrangement is over here, that is a closed heater. Okay, so what does this takes through this trap, it is passing to the next lower pressure heater, that is over here. The trap passes only liquid and no vapor. So after exiting through this trap, we will be having only water. The drip from the lowest pressure heater can be trapped into condenser. That is, we can take this into condenser here. But this would be throwing away the energy to the condenser cooling water. So this is not done. To avoid this waste, what we are having is a drip pump, that is over here. This drip pump feeds directly into the feed water system. So whatever condensate we are having is, if you see carefully this path, it is directly taken into feed water channel. That is this straight horizontal line which is going into the boiler. So through this drip pump we are having this water going into this main feed water pipeline. And this is the TS diagram for the same. Here the temperature of the feed water, that is at L or O. Let's focus on these 2 points. That is over here L and this is over here O. Leaving a particular heater is always less than the saturation temperature at steam extraction pressure, that is here. So you can see this is E and this is G. So what they are trying to say is that the temperature of E will be more than O and temperature of G will be more than L. The difference of this temperature is being known as terminal temperature pressure difference of the heater. Now the advantages of open heaters are simplicity, lower cost, high heat transfer capacity. However, the disadvantage is that the necessity of pump at each heater to handle the large feed water stream. Closed heaters may be costly because of the arrangement but may not give up as high feed water temperature as do the open heaters. In most of the power plants, closed heaters are favored, but at least one open heater is used primarily for the purpose of feed water deaeration. The open heater in such system is called as deaerator. So here there are 2 numericals that I was planning to take, but as we are having limitation of time, I give you this part as a self study. So I will be simply going through this, so you can pause this video and you can try to understand and do these numericals by yourself. So you can go through this by pausing this video. Here this is the another question, and here we are having the arrangement for the same. Okay, and these are the remaining calculation part over here. So this is the end of vapor power cycle. In our next lecture, we will begin with gas power cycles. This is end of this video as well as end of this chapter. Thank you for watching this video.